If there is one thing that we can all agree on, is that Legos have to be one of the best toys for both kids and adults. You can build stuff like this, and this, and that, and this, and whatever the hell this is. But joking aside though, of course, for a toy brand that is as popular as Lego, there would, of course, be movies, and that's exactly what Warner Brothers did in 2014 with the Lego Movie, and everyone loved it until it all came crumbling down for some weird reason. People just stopped talking about these movies for some weird reason. And basically, in this video, I am going to be talking about the rise and fall of Lego movies. In order to do that, we have to talk about all 4 movies. So without further ado, let's get started. The Lego Movie. Now, when this movie was first announced, a lot of people were extremely underwhelmed. When I mean that, they thought that this was going to be a very stupid commercial just for Legos, but instead, it wasn't that. The story is about a construction worker named Emmett, until one day he meets Wildstyle. The only reason why Wildstyle is there is because she thinks that Emmett is the special, and except that Emmett really isn't, and instead is just a construction worker who thinks that everyday life is awesome. Now, along the way, they go on this adventure and they meet many, many friends, like Unikitty, Benny the astronaut, and the main star of the show, but not really, Batman. And it's up to them to defeat evil Lord Business. Now, sure, the story is very simple, but it works for a movie about Legos. Now, the characters are very likable. Not a single one is annoying or incredibly forced into the movie. And in my opinion, I thought that this movie was way more funnier than I remembered it. Like, seriously, I laughed a ton while revisiting this movie. And the animation is just so goddamn good. When I mean that, I really mean that. Literally everything in this movie is made out of Lego. Like, seriously. The characters are made out of Legos, the buildings are made out of Legos, the clouds are made out of Legos, even the little tiny things like water or even the clouds from the sky. Just little details like that really makes the animation just so beautiful and so well made to the point where it looks like if it's actually stop motion. So honestly, yeah, the Lego Movie is a really good movie. It doesn't feel like a commercial whatsoever. It actually feels like an entertaining movie. So yeah, I would recommend it. In my opinion, it's basically the best Lego movie out of all the Lego movies. So now, let's talk about the Lego Batman movie. So there were 2 Lego movies that came out in 2017, and the first one was, of course, the Lego Batman movie. Now, in this movie, Bruce Wayne is, of course, Batman, but something happens in Gotham that surprises Batman a lot. Joker and all of the villains that Batman fights decides to surrender themselves and go to jail, which means that there really isn't a reason for the Dark Knight to appear in the night anymore. There's no reason to fight or anything, honestly. So Alfred decides to tell Bruce to adopt a son, until Bruce accidentally adopts a orphanage child named Dick. Alright? And, of course, he decides to use him as a sidekick, aka Robin. And it's up to them to put Joker into the Phantom Zone, so that way Joker doesn't have to deal with Batman anymore. So, like I said with the last Lego movie, the story is very simple, but it works, and that's the same thing with this movie. And the characters are not annoying or unlikable, which has to be probably a good thing. And the animation, just like from the last movie, is of course amazing. Like I said, everything is made out of Lego, and that really goes to show that the animators really put a lot of love and effort. Overall, this is a love letter to the crime-fighting hero himself, Batman. So, this was the second Lego movie that came out in 2017, the Lego Ninjago movie. And out of all of the Lego movies, in my opinion, this one has to be the weakest. It's not terrible, it's far from that, but it's definitely the weakest. Let me explain. So the movie, it's about a high school kid named Lloyd, and he is literally hated by everyone because his father is evil, and yeah, except that he actually has friends, and they have this secret where they are actually ninjas, which people really like them for. And honestly, that's basically the movie. Now, the story for this movie is fine. I mean, it is accurate to the Ninjago franchise, so yeah, it works, I guess. Anyways, the characters can be okay, but some of them can be a little bit annoying at times. But while yes, the animation does look really good, at the same time, there are times where it almost doesn't even look like a Lego movie. Like, seriously, sure, there are times where buildings are actually made out of Legos, of course, the characters, the machines, all of that. But it's for like the sky or the water or the trees or the bridges, stuff like that are not made out of Legos, which kind of tells me that this movie was a little bit rushed. But overall, this is the weakest out of all of the Lego movies. Not terrible, but the weakest. If you like this movie, I'm happy. At least you enjoyed it. I thought it was just okay, but still pretty weak comparing this to the other two that we were talking about. And finally, we have the Lego Movie 2, the second part. God, that is a mouthful. AKA the last of the Warner Brothers Lego movies. And the story for this one is that it takes place after 5 years from the first movie, and now everything is Blick apocalypse. So nothing is awesome anymore, except that Emmett is still Emmett while everyone else has changed. Until one day, an astronaut kidnapped every single one of Emmett's friends, and it's up to Emmett to go and save them. Along the way, he meets his so-called brother, Rex, and they team up to go and destroy Queen whatever wannabe. Yes, that's her actual name, and I hope I didn't get it wrong, because I always say it wrong whenever people address it to me. But anyways, jokes aside though, yeah, that's basically the story for this. So, the story is painfully generic, but it's fine. It could be a lot worse. And this movie gives me a lot of Trolls vibes, which isn't a big surprise since the director of Trolls directed this movie. And the new characters are fine, I guess. Some of them were a little bit forgettable, but some of them made me laugh a bit. Of course, just like with the first movie, the animation looked beautiful and stunning. But sadly, this was the last of the Lego movies from Warner Brothers. And I kind of say this because this movie bombed at the box office. Sure, it still made back its money, but still not really enough. And that kind of sucks. Now it's time for me to talk about why the Lego Movie 2 failed and kind of just ended these Lego movies made by Warner Brothers. It's mostly because, well, as much as this is going to be sad to say, these movies are kind of old. And I say this because, like, with Pixar, you see, from Toy Story, the animation looks outdated, right? But nowadays, you look at Luca and you are very impressed. You see, with every single Pixar movie, Pixar always tries to improve with their animation. With Lego movies, their animation are the exact same thing. Not trying to say that the animation in these movies are terrible, because they are amazing, but they're all the exact same. And they always try to make you cry. And yeah, that's kind of just sad to say, especially for these movies being really good. And, well, yeah, the Lego Movie 2 was basically the film that killed off the entire Lego movies made by Warner Brothers. Before I talk about the future for Lego movies, I want to rank all of the 4 movies, because why not? So, the best Lego movie is, of course, the Lego movie. The second would be the Lego Batman movie. The third would be the Lego Movie 2, the second part. And the weakest would be the Lego Ninjago movie. And again, before I talk about the future of Lego movies, I want to mention some canceled Lego movies. And now I'm not going to waste too much time on these. I'm just going to give them a little quick mention. Now, the first one is Billy and Blick Race, which would have been an original Lego film, like having licensed characters like SpongeBob, Homer Simpson, and Beamo from Adventure Time. What? And, by the way, there have been character designs made, concept art of the characters. And the more I look at these, the more I wish that this movie was actually made. This would have been a pretty fun movie to watch. Now, the second and the last Lego movie that was canceled was the Lego Batman movie 2. And the only way of how we know that this was meant to be an actual movie was by the director. He announced on Twitter that he was going to make it. And, yeah, that movie never came. We don't even have any concept art or story or any characters or anything for the Lego Batman movie 2. So who even knows if any of that was even made for the movie? Who even knows if the movie even started production at all? But yeah, that's it. That's basically it. Now let's talk about the future for these Lego movies. If there's one thing to say, is that they are not going to be made by Warner Brothers anymore, instead by Universal themselves, which is interesting to say the least. So, yeah, we haven't really heard much about the new Lego film. The only thing that we even know about it is some type of soundtrack for it or something like that, which was uploaded on YouTube. But yeah, we don't really know what it's going to be on or what it's even going to be about. But if there would be one Lego film that I would really love to see, it would probably be Lego City. That would be pretty fun, you know? But who knows? The future for these Lego films might become better with Universal, but who knows? But for now, at least we have these 4 Lego movies, and hopefully the future for them will be better with Universal. Anyways, if you like this video, give it a like, and please subscribe for more future videos. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.